Hey guys, the Wide Open Throttle crew and I decided to take a break from the sun this week to bring you a preview of Motor Trend's 2013 SUV of the Year competition. Take a look. During the peak of the so-called SUV craze in the 1990s, roughly 1 in 5 vehicles sold in America was an SUV. Today, it's 1 in 3. With automakers intent on filling each niche in the marketplace, it's a segment that's characterized by its diversity, and one that Motor Trend puts to the test in its 2013 Sport Utility of the Year competition.
For SUV of the Year, we do all of our standard instrumented testing, which is measuring quarter mile, 0 to 60, figure 8, skid pad, get some base numbers to give us some information before we hit the road. After that, we move into an autocross section to get a better idea for these vehicles on how their limit handling is, characteristics and quick transitions, get a quick feel for the vehicle so we can make a cut. We do a much more extended drive loop, a lot of undulating turns, a lot of off-camber turns. They're broken roads, they're potholed roads. That way, when we do this, it gives us a really good idea of how the vehicle is going to feel in a variety of situations.
This year, we brought 16 contenders, and we used a new venue.
Well, today we're at the Central Coast Jet Center, which is a little airport up in Santa Maria, California. And last year, a major auto manufacturer built this beautiful handling course here. It's about 9 turns. And we're using it to make our first cut.
With 16 vehicles, it's tempting to compare them, but it's important to remember that Sport Utility of the Year is not a comparison test, but a test against our 6 key criteria.
The 6 key criteria for Motor Trend's SUV of the Year competition are advancement in design, and that one is how is the design of this vehicle, both inside and out, advanced, sort of the state-of-the-art for the category. We take into consideration things like materials used on the inside, of course how the vehicle looks on the outside, ergonomics, panel fit, and sort of general attractiveness. Second key criteria is engineering excellence. Does the vehicle advance the state-of-the-art in terms of build, engine, powertrain, suspension? How well is it made, and how well does it provide the latest in technology to the end user? The third key criteria is performance of intended function, and that's really how well does the vehicle in question perform as an SUV. It's sort of its core SUV-ness. Does it tow? How many people does it hold? How much cargo? Is it competent on the road? Does it drive well? How does it handle? All of these things go into performance of intended function. The 3 other key criteria, they're a little easier to look at. They're more numerical based. That includes efficiency. In that case, we're looking at things like miles per gallon. We use the numbers provided by the EPA, as well as numbers that we generate on our own during our testing and road trips. Value is another metric that's pretty easy to figure out. We look at the Monronis or the window stickers. We also look at pricing information made available to us by the manufacturer. And the last criteria is safety. And for that, we use Informed for Life, which is a group that compiles all the numbers from the top industry associations, measures things like crash data, number of airbags, so on and so forth. So you put all 6 of these key criteria against each one of the contenders, and that's how we decide Motor Trend's SUV of the Year.
Throughout the day, each judge drove each vehicle on the same roads under the same conditions back to back to back. And by the end of the afternoon, they were ready to make the first cut. With 11 remaining, it was time to head back to base camp to prepare the cars for Day 2's extended drive loop.
We're here on Day 2 of the 2013 Motor Trend SUV of the Year competition. Yesterday, we eliminated a bunch of the contenders. Why do we eliminate cars? Couple of reasons. Take a car like the Audi Allroad. A fine car, but we felt it just wasn't an SUV. Yes, we let it into the competition because it had some ground clearance and some skid plates, but after everybody drove it, it was almost unanimous that that car simply isn't an SUV. Then we cut cars like the Mazda CX-5 and the Honda CR-V. Those are really good little SUVs. The problem was they're in the same class as the Ford Escape, and the Ford Escape is better. So you might be asking, well, how can you have the Ford Escape competing with something like the Mercedes GL? I mean, one's 25,000 and change, one's 70,000 up to 108,000 for the big white one. The SUV of the Year competition is not a straight comparison test. What we want to determine is which of these new SUVs is class leading, and then once we find the class leaders, kind of pit them against each other.
The extensive road loop is an imperative part of the test. It lets the judges get the seat time they need to become familiar with how the car behaves in a real-world setting and on a variety of terrains.
This consists of canyon driving, highway driving, freeway driving. Really gives us the opportunity to dissect the vehicles, to hear them, see if there's creaks and rattles, because the roads we're driving on are not smooth and perfect. It gives us a real good mix of how the vehicle will perform for somebody that's going to be driving on a road trip to the mountains, to the desert, a lot of different situations. This drive loop did give the opportunity to show more of what the vehicles are. Some improved in my opinion, and some didn't.
Throughout the day, the judges narrowed the field, though many were still torn between 2 or more competitors.
I started out on the Subaru XV, went on to the Hyundais and Santa Fe's, and then ended up in this Nissan Pathfinder. This thing went just fine off-road. A lot of us thought, calling it the Mall Finder, you know, and that it would just be totally wimpy in the dirt, but it was perfectly at home there, scampered up our thing pretty well, and it's a compelling value proposition. So this car has elevated quite a bit in my estimation.
Right now, it really is down to, in my opinion, the Ford Escape versus the Mercedes GL.
A couple of the main competitors are the two over my shoulder, Mercedes, Subaru, both very fun vehicles, both polar opposites of pricing and content and features. Nissan's done good, few surprises, and looking forward to seeing how it all turns out.
To find out the winner of Motor Trend's 2013 Sport Utility of the Year, pick up a copy of Motor Trend magazine and visit motortrend.com.